What started as a weird story about hedge funds, stock shorts, and a dying company called Gamestop has exploded in the last 36 hours, and there are political themes and metaphors all over this story, and it's leading politicians who hate each other to find a small slice of common ground. Here's a primer on all this. Over the past week, followers of internet site Reddit's Wall Street Bets page, hundreds of thousands of people began coordinating a plan to make money by heavily buying stocks that were being shorted by hedge funds. The hedge funds take a big risk and bet the stocks would go down. The first big one was GameStop, which is basically like a Blockbuster for video games. It's a dying business. It's a no-brainer for a hedge fund. The company is dying on the vine, short it, make a fortune, and often this works like a charm. That's why hedge fund guys fly private and eat steak tartare 5 nights a week. But this time it blew up in their faces. A militia of average Joes and many Wall Street fat cats following their trend rocked the hedge fund world by buying up tons of shares of GameStop. Again, it doesn't make sense. Nobody should be buying this stock right now. It's not a good company. It was more of a way for the common small trader to pull a fast one on the hedge funders. What's funny and kind of ironic about it, it only worked because a lot of Wall Street itself, the real big money, actually got in on the action and pushed GameStop dramatically higher. And it was working pretty well until trading platforms made a move to limit purchases of these volatile stocks, a move that many saw as an effort to protect the hedge funds. Remember, the hedge funds want the stock prices to go down. Restricting the ability of people to buy the stock did just that. GameStop plummeted from around $469 today down to about $193. AMC theaters went from 19 down to about 8. This move by the trading platform seemed to enrage everybody, it seems. Bipartisan outrage erupted from Capitol Hill. Everybody from Donald Trump Jr. and Ted Cruz to AOC and Elizabeth Warren united in their fury, their common fury towards stock trading platforms like Robinhood and others. Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports, has become a day trader during the pandemic. He's inspired a lot of people with him. Portnoy went off today. Take a listen.
The scariest thing is it's in plain sight. They don't want you to win because they want to save their yachts, their mansions, and everything else they have. It's okay for them to risk money and make money. But if you risk money and make money, no, we can't allow that. You don't know what you're doing. The only people who are smart enough or who are allowed to risk more than they have are the hedge funds and the billionaires. And if they lose, we're going to save them. We're going to save them at your expense. We're going to put the gun in your mouth and we're going to take your money and give it back to the billionaires because only they can make money.
He's pumped up, and a lot of people are. Portnoy at the end there referencing the 2008 crash and subsequent Wall Street bailouts that led to the Occupy Wall Street protests, we remember. The feeling bubbling up from this is kind of similar, though, except this time the anger is not pouring out of Lower Manhattan's Zuccotti Park. It's coming from a Reddit page. That anger has now spread like wildfire. Senator Ted Cruz tweeted this today, 2 pictures, both tweets from the Robinhood app's Twitter page. The first one, 2016, let the people trade, they said. The second, though, from today, in light of current market volatility, we are restricting transactions for certain securities to position closing only, meaning you can only sell, including AMC and GameStop. Robinhood CEO went on CNBC and offered up this excuse for why they stopped the little guys, the retail traders, as they call them, from buying a stock that they wanted to buy. Take a listen.
We absolutely did not do this at the direction of any market maker or hedge fund or anyone we route to or other market participants. The reason we did it was because Robinhood is a brokerage firm. We have lots of financial requirements, including SEC net capital requirements and clearinghouse deposits. So that's money that we have to deposit at various clearinghouses. So some of these requirements fluctuate quite a bit based on volatility in the markets, and they can be substantial in the current environment.
All right. Now, to be fair, I spoke to a trader today who says these restrictions are being used to protect these novice Reddit traders from themselves. It's interesting. And what he said could be a viable excuse. It could be Robinhood trying to weasel out of being the most hated company in America, too. We just don't know yet. But I can tell you this, nobody, it seems right now, is buying that man's excuse. We heard from Ted Cruz. Here's the other side of the aisle, way other side, AOC. This is unacceptable. We now need to know more about Robinhood's decision to block retail investors, again, the little guys, from purchasing stock while hedge funds are freely able to trade the stock as they see fit. Here's Donald Trump Jr. Can't hear from his dad anymore, but here he says, any Republican in D.C. worth a damn should be calling for an immediate investigation into Robinhood and Citadel. Meanwhile, at the White House, Joe Biden's very swampy administration has a new problem. Janet Yellen, the brand spanking new female Treasury Secretary, apparently got paid $810,000 in, quote, speaking fees by a company allegedly mixed up in all of this, Citadel. They're accused of bailing out another hedge fund that was getting pummeled by the Reddit crowd. Now, we're going to get into exactly why that matters here in a couple of minutes with Jordan. But before that, ask yourself, who is worth $810,000 to hear speak? Maybe Jesus? I have no idea. What on earth could any person say to a half-drunk crowd of Wall Street traders that would be worth $810,000? The answer is nothing. We all know why corporations and big banks pay these massive speaking fees to people like Janet Yellen, people with influence, people with power. They're paying in case they ever have a moment like this. And today, when asked, Press Secretary Jen Psaki, would not say if Yellen would recuse herself from a potential investigation or case involving Citadel.
I don't think I have anything more for you on it, other than to say, separate from the GameStop issue, the Secretary of Treasury is one of the world-renowned experts on markets, on the economy. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone she was paid to give her perspective and advice before she came into office.
You feeling that swamp coming back? But back to the big story. Populism is pouring out of this moment, and it's a pretty amazing moment to watch. This country has too many problems to count, and yes, Wall Street is one of them. And this is that weird moment when supporters of Donald Trump and supporters of Bernie Sanders begin to align. And we've seen this before on foreign policy, on ending the expensive wars, being more, focused on domestic stuff. Those weird things Trump did that made him a hybrid candidate, not really a Democrat, not really a traditional Republican either. The one thing I wanted more than anything today was to hear what Trump thought about all of this. We heard from his son, and I guess for now, because Big Tech won't let him talk, that's going to have to be good enough.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel.